Next one is the shadow wave build. Take a kind of a wider stance, you know. I'll back up just a little bit so you can see. Just kind of a, not a big core stance, you know, but just kind of a deeper stance or wider stance, and hold the hands out like this. Notice how my arms are. Very important that they're not stiff like this. I'm not like this. My hands are actually kind of bent. Okay. Side shot of that. Here we are. And so I'm just going to kind of move the elbows and the wrists like this. It's kind of make a, and as you see from the side, my back moves too. And I just kind of cultivate bringing it in. Very powerful build. I make circles inward, but outward I'm pushing straight out. I don't make a full circle like this. I make a circle inward, but I push straight outward and bring it in like that. And I'm using all of this in the back here to create this effect. My rhomboids are working. So here, I'm bringing it in. The wrist will turn too. You know, wrist will turn, elbows will turn, and we just kind of wave back and forth. We do that for about 30 seconds. That's our pre-build for the technique. And then we go into it, bringing it straight out and in, all the way back, bringing it straight out and in, all the way back, straight out and in. Okay, give you a side shot of that. Okay, straight out and in, all the way back, straight out and in, like that. Very powerful build. Okay, the next one, very, very simple technique, the demon ball. Just make it, and we're just going to stand in a nicely grounded stance, breathe, and you can hold it low, right over the tendon, dantian, aura, whatever you want to call it, right over that chakra right there, and just hold. And very powerful all by itself. And lastly, heavenly bodies. Okay, a little bit complicated because it is a moving meditation, so to speak. So I'm going to back up just a little bit so you can see that this is going to be the motion. This is going to be the motion of my body as I'm doing heavenly bodies. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that for you. I think this will probably be the best way of doing it. So as I roll back, I'm bringing this hand back, and as I'm rolling forward, I'm bringing this hand forward, backwards and forwards. Okay, and this is all a knee and ankle motion. Okay, as far as the lower part that's moving me back and forth. So we root good. I'll give you a shot of the footwork here in just a second. All right, here we go. Forward. Backwards. Forwards. Backwards. Forwards. Backwards. Okay. Very, very simple. Okay. Now I'll give you a shot of the footwork so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm standing in a regular stance, just a natural standing stance, and I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can get a view of what I'm doing. So natural stance from the side, I'm just going to step forward with one foot. That's it. Okay. Now I'm going to bend the knees, just like I'm going to get into a fighting position. And now I'm just going to use the knees as I'm doing, and don't worry about what I'm doing up here. We just want to concentrate on the the knee and ankle. Old habits. So that's all we're doing. Okay. And notice the foot. You know, I'm rolling back on the back leg. The foot kind of comes up off the ground just a little bit. You know, some people say don't raise the foot. Some people say do. I find it just do it. You know, the foot comes up. Don't chop your hand off or anything like that. It's not necessary. It's no big deal. So, foot comes up, doesn't matter. If foot doesn't come up, doesn't matter. Now what we're going to go over is balancing techniques for the body. These balancing techniques are very good for treating all kinds of things, and I'll go over that as we're doing them. Okay. The first one we're going to go over, extremely simple balancing technique, nothing to it. Okay. Balancing Heaven's Pillar. Heaven's Pillar is just the name of a pressure point, bladder 10 on the back of the head. I'm going to show you where this point is now on Brandon. So Brandon comes over, and I'm going to turn him around here toward the camera, and we'll find gallbladder 20 just under the occipital ridge right here. If we find gallbladder 20 under the occipital ridge, we're going to come up a ½ inch from that, right on the occipital ridge, and we're going to come over a ½ inch. And you'll find that there's a little squishy spot just above the ridge of the bone. And it's right here. And that's bladder 10 right there. That's an extreme death point. That's an instant knockout just with that much power. It doesn't take much at all to really hurt somebody there. Very sensitive point. So if that's the case, then it's really good for healing too. So, because a powerful point is a powerful point, it's just a matter of changing your intent as to what it's good for. Balancing Heaven's Pillar, we just take 2 fingers, secret sword, remember that from the last one, and we're just going to find gallbladder 20, and we're going to go up to bladder 10, and we're just going to touch right there. And we're just going to hold with firm pressure, not a lot of pressure, just enough to, you know, to make good connection. Okay? Now you can do this on yourself. Thank you, Brandon. You can do this on yourself by just doing the secret sword mudra and finding your own bladder 10 and holding it right there. Now this helps with nosebleeds. It helps with sinus problems, allergies from inhaling stuff, as far as external pollen and this kind of thing. It helps with all that. And the elapsed time for doing it, probably about 5 to 7 minutes, something to that effect. And it's good for headaches, just good for most anything that ails the head. You know, but it feels very good to do it. Maybe even relax the neck a little bit. So, very simple, very easy to do, very powerful technique.